Hi, I'm the author of the Tacview Recorder mod for Arma 3. This mod is an attempt to export in-game data from Arma in a format that is suitable for the after-action replay tool Tacview. This will be the first of 3 videos providing some basic documentation for the mod. In this video I'm going to show you what this mod is and what it's capable of so far. I'm going to skip over installation and setup and get straight into the meat of it, so you can see whether this is something interesting to you or not. I'll cover the setup details in subsequent videos, one each for Arma and then the Tacview setup. What you're looking at is a replay of a game played late last year. Let's start with the obvious. You're looking at a map of Cam Lao Nam. Arma 3 is not an officially supported game for Tacview, which means that this map does not come out of the box. In order to get a good experience, I've done some work to export map and elevation data from the Arma engine and reformat it for Tacview. Currently, this is limited to the Vanilla and Bohemia DLC maps, along with a few other community maps that I've played with friends. That list will no doubt expand. In the future, I'd like to find a way that anybody can get any map they wish into Tacview. However, at this point, it requires a bit of manual work. While recording, the mod saves to a file the position and movement of each infantry unit, all vehicles, land, sea and air, and map markers. It does this once a second, which isn't quite often enough for fast-moving air assets, but it's acceptable, and I'm trying to be conscious of the performance of the mod. I'd like this to also be useful for large-scale AI battles. As you can see, all of the units are color-coded based on their side, blue for Blue 4, red for Op 4, and green for Indy 4. Tacview actually only supports 4 colors, so I consider it quite lucky that blue, red, and green are amongst them. Everything else in the game is violet. Principally, that's civilian assets. However, vehicles without an occupant are considered to not have a side and so are also shown in violet. Tacview has a decent database of 3D models for displaying different units, though as you can imagine, much of the fictional kit from the Arma universe isn't supported. Here you can see Tacview's representation of the Hueys we were using for troop lifts. In the absence of the correct model for a vehicle, I've tried to keep things sensible. Soft-skin vehicles should be shown as Humvees, armoured, wheeled vehicles as BRDMs, armoured and tracked vehicles as M2 Bradleys, tanks as M1 Abrams, helicopters as Kiowas, and aircraft as A-10 Thunderbolts. I have some support so far for map markers. Most of the vanilla icons should be supported, rectangle and polyline markers also. Ellipse markers are currently displayed using the threat bubbles that Tacview provides for air defense units. Clearly, ellipses aren't always circular, so that isn't always going to work. Working with a 3-dimensional medium has also made for some interesting choices regarding markers. As you can see here, the markers actually float just above the surface of the map. This is okay when you're looking top down, but can get a little confusing when you're at a different perspective. And the diamond models you see in the middle of the marker are the native Tacview model for waypoints. While I could hide these, if there's any text attached to a marker, that text is only visible if the Tacview symbol is also shown. So map markers are an area I'm still trying to improve upon. Tacview supports the recording of arbitrary events. So far I've added recording just for the hit and killed events. You can see an example of these over here. There are also a couple of features that are quite experimental, and so I've parked for now for this first release. Most notable is that I've been experimenting with exporting buildings from the game engine. You can see this in a couple of the other videos on YouTube. For the moment, I've disabled this as it wasn't solid enough for a public release. That's probably it for now. I hope that's given you an idea of what is currently possible with this mod. It's been in progress for a little while, but it's still fairly on. It still needs a fair bit of work, but I think there's a lot of future potential.